Hi, in this video we will use Claude Code AI development system to make some design changes in our applications. So we have an application which is a CRM application, and we have a test version running here. And this is pretty kind of obsolete design wise and not been maintained very well. And as you can see, the last release was made in 2024. So what I would like to do is see if Claude Code can actually make the design changes I anticipate and keep it maintained and compatible with the latest browsers and trends, and accessibility, for example, is not being implemented by the developers who worked on it originally. So what I have already established with Claude Code is like identified the CSS changes. I've been making other changes with Claude Code as well, like pipeline refinements and things. But so it has identified the style sheet changes, and as you can see on my screen, and it has identified the main issues. It says I can see the style sheet links for your dashboard. Let me examine, and it has examined. And now it has identified 3 files, CSS files, and it suggests to me, as I already told Claude Code, to optimize for the, for the accessibility, make font size, more compatible, and purple gradient theme changes. It suggests it has identified. So it says I can optimize these styles, fix any specific issues, add new components. So I've asked it to add accessibility, and it has said okay, and it has added accessibility improvements file. Now it's asking open changes in Visual Studio Code. So one thing I obviously haven't mentioned is that I've already got Claude Code extension in Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to just see, okay, yes, please go ahead and make the changes, add the new accessibility style sheet, and so okay, I want to improve. So it has cancelled because I think I didn't click or confirmed in time. So let's try again. And okay, so it's come back with the prompt again. Fine. Please go ahead and make changes. So it's enhancing the layout, clarity and spacing, and it's gonna ask me about various changes it has made. So I'm gonna just check in the browser. I'm not gonna read the style sheet code and try to validate before, so we can just see what happens. It's more of an experimental video where I want to see if Claude Code is good enough to make design changes in my old application. Rather, it's a CodeIgniter PHP application. As you can probably guess, it's pretty old, and because these days we use Next.js and more kind of latest technologies, and Golang, etc. for the backend. But anyway, it's still worth checking out what we can do with the old applications and keep them maintained, and maybe upgrade the CodeIgniter PHP versions and things as well at some point. Okay, so it says completed the accessibility and font size improvement. So it's telling you exactly what it has done: typography, hierarchy for all headings. And actually, I'm quite interested in to add the changes and see. So this is the new file, and any other changes it has made. Let's see. No, I'm gonna add that in the okay. So let's see if we can see any other style sheet changes. No, that's it. Okay, so there's one file, newly file added. So I can see here Claude Code design enhancements test. This is only a test we can roll back. It doesn't work. So we have pushed in the GitHub, and now what we're going to do is create a PR, follow the best practices, and actually one thing we can do, we can copy this enhancement so we know what it has changed, and there you go. So it should automatically do in future, I think, but this will become your kind of a release file, release notes, you know, for this PR. Okay, now I have to get somebody in my team to approve this. So what I'm going to do is make the changes and push to main branch, because main branch gets auto deployed to our test environment first. And so yeah, I've asked my colleague to approve my changes, and yeah, so she has approved, and now yeah, my changes are approved. Only 2, which can be automated, by the way, as well. This by Claude Code or any other AI development platforms like Cursor or Firebase or ChatGPT integrations can also analyze and fix your errors and validate. But anyway, in this case, we got hopefully the pipeline triggered. Yep, perfect. So I may have to pause the video because it's going to build a Docker image, push it to our registry, Docker repository, and then deploy it automatically onto our test environment, which is testmyworkstation.co.uk. And last time, there's a timestamp when that was deployed, last release. I'm not going to update the major release yet because I want to first validate and make sure the code is tested and vulnerabilities are scanned for other changes. Other QA tasks are automated as well, but yeah, let's for now pause the video and then we'll resume. Hello again, welcome back. So I'm just waiting for the changes to be deployed. It seems to have run the deployment in the int environment. Okay, so let's see what's happening in the integration environment. Okay, so terminating the pod. We are running obviously Kubernetes cluster and deployments are automated. And let's see if I can go to int my, yeah, so that will be the int environment, not the test actually. So here we should see the deployment updated. Yeah, as you can see, the pod is now initializing. So I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, folks, welcome back. So we have the integration environment pods up and running, and let's see in the browser if we log out of that, and in the integration environment if we can see the changes. So the changes were made on 23rd of September 2025. Yeah, so this timestamp seems about right. So let's look at the existing version in the test environment, which will not be impacted by this change. First, the change will go to the integration environment. So let's check if we have any improvements in the design as a result. If we can see if it's more crisper and okay, I'm not seeing any changes, so I'm gonna delete the browser cache and yeah, let's see if it's caching the CSS. Oh yeah, it does look, yeah, it has kind of made some changes, but we can also see if our style sheet has been changed. Remember, we have the 2 changes we made in the file we made. Let's have a look what was changed. We can go back to GitHub and look at our PR, or last commit rather, actually. And so it added a file and it made a change in the style sheet, and especially a line number 22. So we have line number 22 in the style sheet.css, and let's see if we can find. Okay, so the change hasn't, it's probably caching at the CDN level, so I'm going to pause the video and clear the CDN cache. 1 second. Okay, welcome back folks. I have gone into Cloudflare CDN and purged everything, so so let's see what happens if I have any improvements, especially as compared to the other older version. Okay, so far I don't see any changes, and let's go to the style sheet again and style.css. Okay, now it has updated. Look, we can see the changes. So let's see now if I reload this page, if we see any improvements as a result of the changes in the CSS purely made by Claude Code. Actually, let's have a look at some web pages, or we don't have any data. Okay, let's see if we have any. Okay, so we have some data, and okay, so it has made the changes. We definitely have the latest timestamp here, but it hasn't made any significant changes yet. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna analyze what else we can change using Claude Code. So I'm gonna say, can you please also make dashboard font size default, let's say the default font size a little bit bigger. We don't want to make too many changes, and crisper, and yeah, we wanted to experiment with font styles and changes. Okay, let's see now what it can do. I will pause the video if it's taking too long to think and all that, but let's okay, let's make those changes again. So it has changed the font color as well. Okay, this time line heights and stuff like that. So okay, interesting. Intrigued to see the changes, and I'm gonna allow that change to happen. Okay, and again, let's see what files it has changed. I'm interested in CSS only. Okay, so it has added the changes in the this CSS file. So let's add that into our GitHub, and yeah, and push again, and PR again, and all that. So let's do that. But when it's building the entire thing, I'm gonna pause it. So my changes are in this PR. Yeah, as you can see, font size is a little bit bigger, which is, yeah, cool. And let's also don't forget to let us know what it has changed. So better typography and all that, updated style. So I'm gonna just paste here so I can see later on if I have to. Okay, I'm gonna get my colleague to approve my PR and rebuild a Docker image and redeploy, clear the cache in the CDN. So I'll be back. I'm gonna pause the video again. Thanks. Okay, it has built the Docker image and now deploying to the integration environment. So pausing again. Okay, now it has started terminating the old pods, as you can see. So it's going to recreate the 3 replicas. So pausing video again. Thank you. Okay, welcome back folks. There's just the last pod which is now rebuilding. One of the things I wanted to mention, actually, other thing, is that this CRM database application is using my SQL database, and it's sharing the the volume PVCs in a Kubernetes cluster using Longhorn, and these volumes get shared by the pods. So if the pod is running on a node worker 00 and changes in the style sheets are made, deployed in one PVC, it gets replicated across the whole replica's entire cluster. So okay, so the pods are ready now, as you can see, 3 of them, which is great. And let's go and now purge in our CDN the cache again, because I don't want to test. Okay, so now reload and see if it's different than if you see, yeah, you see the layout, you see the size is bigger, you can see that, right? So it has made the changes, and I can see obviously the data is different, but I can see that, oh, there is an error. Okay, but I can see that if I go to customer, okay, the pod hasn't, some of the pod hasn't initialized it, but if you look at the customers, for example, and yeah, the font is bigger actually, as you can see between the two. I don't know. Yeah, so it has made the changes. So that's great, because it shows how good Claude Code is. Literally, I went to have a cup of coffee for a couple of minutes, told Claude Code in my integrated environment, development environment, Visual Studio Code, to make changes, and it's just starting to make changes. And I'm gonna maybe make a few more edits and see what happens in the eventually. And let's make another change. So I'm going to pause the video again, and let's see the result. So as you can see, it is still working on it, and it has made some edits, but it's just want to make some additional typography improvements at the end. So I'm going to allow it to do. Pausing again. Okay, so it has completed the set of changes. Again, it's the same file, style sheet, the main style sheet file. It has changed, so I'm gonna push those changes and go through the process, rebuild, redeploy, purge the cache in the CDN. So I'll pause the video again and be back shortly. Thanks. One other thing I wanted to mention, that I'm keeping track of changes in the GitHub, so we can easily roll back. The QA team can see the release notes, which is fully automated. We have actually a link in our application at the bottom of the, let's go and look at the, here. It's a link, and click on the docs, and then it shows the changes. The release management is automated as well. Pausing again. Hello folks, so one pod has been redeployed. I'm just waiting for the others to be redeployed. I'll be back again. Okay, so we have the 3 pods which are redeployed, and I have cleared the CDN cache, and let's go and reload our dashboard and see if it's different, significantly different than the before. Oh yeah, I mean, I can see that the font, look, that the font search is a lot more crisper, and you can see that didn't have that highlight in the search boxes, and it has actually made made significant differences, which I really like. And if I click on my record, yeah, it's all the entry boxes have been improved. The buttons are bigger, and the dashboard looks a little bit more crisper to me, and the changes are working. So obviously I have covered a lot how AI developer assisted by Claude Code or Cursor or ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot. I mean, I'm just experimenting with Claude Code, but any of these AI assistants, designers and developer and automation of pipelines. I mean, these pipelines are also written by GitHub Actions pipelines are written by and improved by Claude Code, and Firebase has made some significant improvements as well. So overall, I'm really impressed with these, and I just have to admit, I just go and make a cup of coffee, come back in a few minutes and the changes are done, and QA can approve or disapprove, and we can keep making those improvements in our applications, maintain those, make them mobile compatible websites, for example. And that's really good. Thank you for watching this video, and please give us a like and subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.